Well, good morning. I can't tell you how much of a privilege it is for me to be able to stand up here and welcome you on behalf of the Canadian Roundtable for Sustainable Beef. The theme of this year's conference is building experiences regionally and globally. And that theme in itself really defines who the Canadian Roundtable is, because never before have we seen such international collaboration go on that allows us to become successful the moment you open your doors. So in order to understand what we're trying to accomplish here, for those of you who are new to Canada, it's important to understand what our industry is all about right now. Currently, we have beef producers in every province of this country. We span from sea to sea, and right now we're sitting at around 68,500 beef producers. Here, beef production is cow-calf, backgrounding, which are when we take those calves off the cow and put them in a feedlot pen, generally over winter time, take them from around 400 to 500 pounds and finish them to about 700 to 800 pounds. But these calves don't go to the Cargills and JBSs of the world. At this point, they go in two more directions. One will go either out on grass back on the ranches, or the other group will go directly into the feedlots. Our feedlots are grain finishing feedlots, and currently they sit anywhere from around the size of 500 to 20,000 head. And on average, these feedlots will turn over that inventory about 3 times a year. Our average cow herd size is around 63 mother cows. So we have a wide variety of producers across this country. So that's what's defining what's sustainable beef really challenging, because we have to make sure that we're being as inclusive as possible, even with the variances that we have. One thing's to be here in the mountains of Alberta, another thing's to be on the coast of our eastern coasts. So we have to make sure that as we're creating a program here, we're making sure we're not having or creating any unintended consequences that will affect one versus the other. Our feedlot industry, we're very fortunate here in Western Canada because the majority of our feedlots are situated here in Alberta. 70% of our total production, in fact, resides here. And with our big feedlots also comes our processing and packaging facilities, where we represent 86% of the total industry. The Canadian beef industry is predominantly producers that grass feed cattle, but grain finish them. And the majority of, and I'd say almost 100%, of our cattle come from a Boss Taurus base, which really allows us to produce a very high quality, and more importantly to our packers, a consistent product that we're able to sell into over 58 countries worldwide. We produce more than 1.2 million tons of beef annually, and Canada is now the 6th largest exporter of beef and live cattle in the world. Our beef industry contributes $41 billion into the Canadian economy, and that equates to about 228,000 jobs. So now you get the snapshot of what we're trying to produce. Now it's time to figure out what the Canadian Roundtable is all about. There we go. Again, looking back at the theme of building experience on what we have, the Canadian Roundtable has been really fortunate to have been able to take a governance model that was handed down to us from the Global Roundtable and create a system here nationally that can just pick up and go. As you can see from our mission statement, we're even sharing the same types of words. You see words such as science, multi-stakeholder engagement, collaboration. This is important because the consistency in the messaging of defining sustainable beef on a global as well as a national level is critical to having success worldwide. Don't forget, this is what we're creating here is a pre-competitive platform. We're not saying that Canada is going to be more sustainable because we're going to be first out the gate. The reality is we're trying to create a framework that anybody, anywhere in this world can use. But we get the freedom to be able to make sure that we're creating something that works here for Canada first, but still is not going to be restrictive to any of our neighbors. For those of you that are not aware, Canada does a lot of live and beef trade with the United States. So we are very intentionally and hopefully trying to make sure and ensure as we create a Canadian verified system, we're not creating a barrier of any sort from a marketing perspective or anything. This is to create a true definition of sustainable beef. We, right now, are very happy to say our membership is growing in leaps and bounds. The collaboration that's been going on in the past 12 months has been extraordinary. And what we're finding is that as we complete each phase of the development process, whether it be through our sustainability assessment or through our verification framework, word is getting out of the importance of being a part of this conversation. So after every phase, we're now seeing more and more of our new membership coming forward. And we're excited to say we have 93 members today and observers. And it's continually growing. And I think we're going to see that grow more and more as we're able to leverage our members and really being able to communicate what it is that we do every day. The other thing that we took directly from the Global Roundtable is our governance motto. And it's imperative to have a council or a leadership that is multi-stakeholder in format. As you're creating a framework that involves an entire country that's as diverse as Canada, it's important to make sure you have as many points of view as possible, because it's through this open and transparent conversation we can be ensured that we're not putting out the unintended consequences of what we're putting out there is not going to be overlooked. And again, we can use the ability of a lot of our council members and our members as a whole to leverage that consistent messaging that we need. Again, it's been quite a simple startup from the Canadian perspective because the Global Roundtable supplied us with the definition of what it is that we're striving to define, sustainable beef. On top of that, they also handed us our 5 principles as well as 72 criteria of how they would like to see sustainable beef defined. But again, the most important part of this is the fact that we were given the independence to figure out how we as Canadians can take the tools that we're using today, that exist today, and make it apply to these principles. So we have the freedom to create a framework that works for Canada. Again, this model can be picked up, taken to the United States, taken to Uruguay, taken to Paraguay, taken to Europe, and the same concept will apply. And the idea, again, comes back to making sure that we're defining beef in the same way worldwide so that as we're trying to compete for the attention of our consumers, we won't have any issues here. We're all speaking the same terms. And that's going to be one of the major focuses going forward. We have to keep that messaging consistent. So it has been a busy 12 months for us, and we have really been on fire, and it's been exciting. I've talked about our membership and their critical role in what we're doing and making sure that we've got that collaboration in every step of the way. And today I am extremely proud to announce that as at 10:30 this morning, our national beef, this is where I get the NBSA, it doesn't work. National Beef Sustainability Assessment and Strategy will be released. This is an exciting point for us in the roundtable because this is 2.5 years of hard work, really bringing together all the information of our country and giving us a quantitative starting point of where we are with regards to sustainable beef. I'm not going to say anything more about this because this is Fawn Jackson's presentation and she needs to be the one that releases this, but we're truly, truly excited about this. And as I mentioned Fawn's name, I'm not even sure where she is in the room. Fawn Jackson is our executive director. Fawn, are you here? Ah, there she is. Stand up and wave. She is the one that really drives this organization. Her, alongside with Monica Haderitz, who's our community engagement manager, stand up, because it's important everybody knows who they are, because if you got tough questions, ask them. They'll be able to answer it. But we really have been able to accomplish a lot this year because those two ladies have the ability to bring together a lot of people and get a lot of work done and very quickly. By hosting or co-hosting this conference, it's an example of why this works so well. We're about to roll out some of the findings that we've had, and it's important as you're building these frameworks to make sure that we share not only the highlights like the sustainability assessment study, but also the problems that we've had. And we've been very fortunate to be able to learn off of GTPS, our Brazilian counterparts. They've been very open about sharing what worked and what didn't work. And this is our opportunity to do the same thing. And that's why it's so important to co-host an event such as this, because we want to see everybody succeed at this. And finally, our major success this year has been a direct result of the investment that McDonald's has put into our Canadian beef industry. And I can't begin to thank McDonald's enough for giving us this launching pad to be able to really understand what it was going to be, what was necessary to build a verification framework. In June 2016, this pilot project wrapped up. And in that pilot project, we saw 121 operations, different operations, be verified sustainable. And what this project really enabled us to do was to tangibly see what a model could look like. Because we all have ideas, we know we have to answer questions, but none of us were really sure what it was going to take to produce a program that would work and be strong enough to convince our producers they could be a participant in this, but also be strong enough that our retail and food service partners had something to be able to make a claim on. So it has been a tremendous learning. Again, McDonald's has been completely open and transparent with this project, and it's allowed us to take the learnings and the winnings from that project and now move on and create a national program. So thank you, McDonald's, all of you. So how we were able to really get all this work done in the past 12 months is we really have been focusing in 3 core pillars. We've been focusing hard on that sustainability assessment because you need to know where you're at in order to know what you have to improve upon. You need to celebrate the successes and be able to demonstrate and quantitate what those successes are. So it's been important to keep that going, and now we've reached that point. This will be repeated every 5 years thereabouts, so we'll keep that current fresh. But the sustainability is just the beginning. Next is the tough go of really creating what our verification framework will be. And a verification framework is really the package we start to take to our producers and our processors to really identify how they are quantifying what verifiable beef is to them and being able to demonstrate how we're improving and really taking that continuous improvement model into being. The third pillar has really come out of building this verification framework, because what we're finding, and we even saw through the McDonald's project, is that there's a lot of great projects that already exist out there. And so if we know that there's an area where possibly a producer isn't doing so well, and we know that there's this program over here that's really going to help them, we want to be that resource for producers and processors alike to be able to come to and say, I need some help on this. What's working and what's not working? How do I advance in this continuous improvement? So the projects pillar is going to be very important once this framework gets up and running as well. So, as per Friday, we have our AGM. I think it's from 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock in the morning. It is an open AGM. And at that meeting, I would invite all of you to come and attend, because we will be updating on all the various components of where we're at with regards to the verification framework. A lot of work truly has been done. And it's, again, something that we want to share with everyone. Because, again, we're looking for input as much as anything. We don't want to be making a mistake or creating something that could cause problems in any corner. This is an open process. And we look forward to all of you coming to attend if you would like. Just for those of you that aren't familiar with what a verification framework is, I just wanted to go through a few of the key components of it to give you an idea of the type of work that we've been doing. Of course, the most important or key element to this is, in fact, the indicators, or what we're using, the questions we're asking to measure both the processors and the producers alike. On our process right now, our producer indicators have gone through first public reading, and we're about to release second public reading. And once that occurs, then we're going to be set to be able to take on the next phases. As you're building indicators, one of the toughest parts, the next step is actually building an assurance model. Now, this is the 400-page document that hopefully none of us have to read, but has to be a part of it because it's what helps us understand how we're scoring those indicators, what type of audits are necessary, how often they have to happen, what kind of training needs to go in place. That we've actually already done. And so now we're just waiting to start to build all this together into a beta program. And we actually have producers that are lined up, ready to go, to fill in and participate in our beta project this fall. We are following a set of standards known through the International Social and Environmental Labeling Alliance, or ICL. So it is an internationally recognized standard that we're going through. And because we are going through this process, we know, and we can solidly say, we will not have an official program or framework ready for you until the end of 2017. But we are going forward. And we will have these beta projects because in the interim, we still are grandfathering those that are in the McDonald's program, and we're able to take the information that's there and continue on, even though we have to wait till the end of 2017 to officially launch this. So with that, I thank you, and again, I'm looking forward to the next couple of days, and I wish you all well and happy learning.